No person except a natural-born citizen or a citizen of the United States at the time of the adoption of this Constitution shall be eligible to be the office of President. Neither shall
The chair would remind all persons in the gallery that they are here as guests of the House and that any manifestation of approval or disapproval of the proceedings is a violation of the rules of the House.
Riccardi, 10 till 1, 550 KTSA.
KTSA News Time is 10:09. It is Friday, January 7th, 2011. The weekend is here. Gang of Four is on the air, and there is no heckling allowed. Just like there's no heckling during the reading of the Constitution in the U.S. House. No heckling allowed on Gang of Four. We'll meet the gang. We'll kick around the big news stories of the week. And with you at 599-5555, you can vote in today's JR poll. On our gang today, Gilbert Garcia, who is now one of the reporters for a brand new online news venture, which is called
Plaza de Armas,
named after City Hall Plaza.
Right.
What's going on? Has it launched?
It launches Wednesday, and it was basically put together by my editor at the Express News, my former editor at the Express News, Greg Jefferson, and my editor before that at the Current, Elaine Wolf, and they decided they wanted to do something new, covering local politics, news, and business, and asked me to join up with them.
Is the growth of something like this made possible by the fact that old media, with all of the cutbacks and consolidation, really isn't covering politics, government as much or as well as it used to?
I think so, and I think if this is going to be successful, I think it would be because, and we hear this from people when we mention it to them, that they say they feel that there's a lot that's not being covered out there. And I mean, the people at the Express News do a great job, but there have been cutbacks with that staff. And sometimes I think with daily papers, the daily newspaper tends to want to kind of be all things to all people. Right. And I think we're going to have maybe a tighter focus.
You guys are just covering local government issues. You don't have comics and sports and all that other stuff.
Exactly. We'll have a little bit of arts coverage. And I think we'll cover the state legislature and Congress to the degree that it deals with the local delegation.
No Heloise.
That's right.
No classifieds.
No recipes for me.
No recipes.
Yeah, that's right.
Man. Now I've known you a long time, and I'm a little worried. I mean, is this going to make it? I mean, is this all you're doing?
Yes, it is. And I have to say, in my case, I was already looking to do something different. My daughter started kindergarten a few months ago, and she gets out of school at 3. Right. I was looking to freelance, maybe write a book, trying to do something different because I wanted to kind of base my schedule around her schedule, and so this kind of fell in my lap at the perfect time. So I hope it works, and I think we're going to do some good work. The financial side of it it's always tricky, but it's going to be subscription based. It's going to be $5.99 a month. Or $60 a year for subscribers.
All right, everybody needs to subscribe because Gilbert's got a family.
That's right.
And you don't want him on the side of the road like Ted Williams. This doesn't work.
I don't have that kind of voice.
Doesn't have that. He has a Sharpie, but he's not sure what he can do. All right, Gilbert Garcia is here today. We're glad to have him on Gang of Four. Louis Barrios is here. Louis got a few irons in the fire. You've always got a lot going on, right?
I've always got a lot going on. But first, I wanted to thank all the givers, the year-end givers that gave to Viola's Huge Heart Foundation. We're very grateful. The year-end giving was good.
Yes.
And we can continue with Viola's mission.
And for folks that don't know, this is a foundation founded in honor of your mom, who was killed very tragically a couple of years ago.
That's right. It's a 501c3, and we do scholarships, and we want to help people from my mom's hometown of Bustamante, Nuevo León as well. But right now we're just focusing on scholarships to needy individuals, children, young people. The one that we've given out already is Abigail Isararaz from Incarnate Word High School, being raised by a single mom, like my mom, when my dad was killed in a traffic accident in '75. And so she raised us single-handedly, and so we're trying to reach out.
And you've turned out, pretty well.
That's debatable.
Okay, you've turned out all right. But anyway, business is good? Is everything good with the restaurants?
Business is booming. We finished the year real strong. When we started the year, it was kind of difficult because of the last year the beginning of this year and last year we ended with a very cold winter.
Right.
And so January and February we were very far behind. It took us till October to get caught up on our revenues from the previous year, but we finished off the year real well because the weather cooperated.
Good. Whatever it takes, right?
That's exactly right.
All right, Louis Barrios on Gang of Four today, and Jim Eskin, who publishes the Stratagems newsletter. How long has that been going on?
Oh, let's see, 15th year.
How
Happy
about
New
that?
Year. Happy New Year
You're
to
now
you.
officially the old media.
I'm officially old.
Yeah, or just old.
Yeah, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
And what an exciting time to be here, but to be a Boston fan.
Jim and I grew up in the same hometown.
Yeah, and
Now,
usually we suffer together, and we're not
we
suffering.
didn't go to high school together because
No,
you went to
different
Newton
years
South,
and a different ride. You were,
and I went to Newton North.
But-
And just to explain to people
Yeah.
in San Antonio, that's the opposite. Newton North, poor. Newton South, rich.
Yeah, but I was the
Jim
poor.
was
I was the
Jim
minority.
You're on the money side of town.
Yeah, I was in the
I
Chevy.
grew up in the hardship of Newton. I grew
Yeah,
up in the
hard side, hard knocks,
those
Newton.
hard knock precincts. All right. So Jim is on our Gang of Four today too, and if folks want to see Stratagems, where can they find that?
Stratagems.org.
.org. All right. Well, it's the first few days or the first week of the 112th Congress. They read the Constitution out loud. We discovered, among other things, that members of Congress are not strong readers. This was painful in some places. But they did that as they promised they would. However, some of their other promises have not done so well. It seems like they're backtracking on a lot of the stuff that was the red-hot rhetoric of the 2010 election season. The cutting $100 billion in the first year. Now they're telling us, oh, that's really not going to be possible because we don't have the full fiscal year, and besides, we've taken entitlements off the table, so that really doesn't leave a lot left to cut. And then they said, we're going to make sure that bills won't be written in the back of the room, and they got to be out there for 72 hours, and we're going to have openness. But the health care repeal legislation, which is their first major bill, is a closed rule bill, not open to amendments, not open to public scrutiny. And so, I don't know, is this just sort of, freshman struggles, or are they already breaking their promises right out of the gate? What kind of a start are the Republicans off to, in your opinion? Anybody?
Well, I go. First, and I'm partisan, as you know, and I'm philosophical. A Democrat and off to the left. But as you get older, and I think, and not that all of us in this room know, as you get older and have a keener appreciation of perspective, there's always this struggle. There's one thing to get elected, which can be fun and requires certain type of skill sets, and both from the politician and from the electorate. And then it's so much harder to govern and to put policy. And I don't care if it's the Democrats who go in, or Republicans, or the conservatives and liberals. We just can't seem to marry the two. You go in with this kind of philosophical high, well, we're going to be different, we're going to get things done.
Jim, are you saying in
and
essence that
I'm
we
just
shouldn't
saying
really...
that it's just, there's a disconnect there.
So don't believe everything you hear, because it's not all going to happen.
No, I'm just saying, we elect people, you're elected, because, I think it's a different skill set. It's in different values and a different personality to get elected. And then the science of governing and managing is so different.
All right. So Gilbert, one thing to promise and another thing to deliver on it.
Yeah, and I think it's par for the course what they're experiencing this week. When I would talk to congressional candidates, in the fall, whenever we got down to the issue of what are you going to cut specifically, it always got a little bit vague, and I think that's always been the history of politicians, because people like the abstract concept of cutting the budget, of fiscal responsibility, which could lead to lower taxes. They like those concepts. When you really get specific about cuts, people get squeamish, and the Republicans, while they may be more committed to the idea of cutting the budget, they still have concerns about that.
Look, if the federal budget was one of your businesses, squeamish or not, complicated or not, you would know, I've got to dramatically scale this thing back or I'm going under. Right? There's no other way to run this.
Well, I compare the private-public relationship to a spousal relationship where one of the spouses works and the other one just spends. And the one that works will tell the one that spends, hey, you need to cut down on the spending because it's harder to earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
And the one that spends says, but we need all these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's very challenging. So I'm part of the private sector, and we go and lobby. I just got back from Austin yesterday. The session hasn't even started, and we're already having meetings, this one on immigration, but we're there to plead with them and let them know this is what it takes to earn a living. This is what it takes to be profitable. Be careful when you start working and tweaking these policies, because it's getting harder and harder to earn a living. And so we're just trying to reason with these guys and explain to them what the private sector feels and how challenging it is out here.
All right, we're going to take a closer look at what the Republicans are doing in these first few days with the gang and talk about many other things. You can jump in and vote in the JR poll at 599-5555. But first, on a Friday morning, 10:18 on KCSA.